it makes, can you just, she's left an opening, a space for me to keep talking, correct? It didn't feel like, now she could have just as easily said, well, why don't you build a fence? Or why don't you this? Or, man, what a judgmental, what a rotten lady to make her kids, to have her kids come over. You know, and I might, yeah, sure, I'd agree with that, but that doesn't do anything with the emotion that I'm feeling. Right? Do you sense that? So, you said what I said, smaller but the same words.
You could say, I agree. Still, you want your own space, but you don't feel like you're getting that.
Okay, you just jumped to step 2.
Okay.
You jumped to stage 2, which is a little more advanced. So hang on to that for just a second, because yes, you would. We're starting with the obviously easiest one. You made it a little more complex. But we start at the easiest one, just so we can get a feel for this. Say back what I just said in approximately the same words. Okay, so let's continue. So she said, and you hold on to that because we'll get to that in a second. So Jen says, say that again.
So your neighbor told her kids to go over and play on your kids' trampoline. Your kids were bullied off.
Yeah, and then they'd come up, and I'm not a mean neighbor. I mean, I think we're nice, like most people are. But we'd go down and we've got a deck, and then there's a trampoline down below, and I'd get up on the deck and say, guys, you gotta go. And they would say, no, we don't have to go. Our mom said we could play here. Now, you want to make judgments, don't you? What is she thinking? But that's autobiographical. I'm not saying don't do that, but what I'm saying is if you're trying to help me with this emotion that I'd rather not have and have a good communication, you want to avoid whatever's autobiographical. So, somebody else. Stage 1. I just said that.
So you went out and you just told the kids that they had to go home, and they responded that they didn't have to because their mom said they could do that.
Right. Now you notice she said that with a period at the end. That's important. You're just repeating verbatim, pretty close, what she said, what I just said. And as she said that, you can tell there's some psychological air. Yes. Let me keep going. Okay, so that's stage 1. It's not very useful very often to just do that. And sometimes that's all you need to do. So for example, if the person says, I'm very worried that my son isn't doing as well as he could academically, to rephrase the content, you might respond, you're very concerned about how your son's doing in school. Okay. So what you're trying to do here is say what I just said, shorter, but in your words, not mine. Okay? So let's continue with this story. It gets worse.
Is this a true story?
This is a true story, yeah. I don't have many true bad stories, but this was an expensive story. Not worse, it was expensive. So we decided to buy a fence. And we were the only ones on the whole street. It's like, half a mile of street. We look down and we go in our backyard, look this way, no fences. Look this way, no fences. We're getting a fence. And immediately the thinking is, not that I care what other people think of me, but the Olpins have a fence. What's wrong with those guys? Why can't they be an open backyard like the rest of us? kind of thought was going through my mind. I was just making it up, obviously, because I have no way of knowing.